Speaking Human.
Today on Speaking Human, we endorse our favorite brand celebrity pairings and explain what makes them masterful marriages of marketing, audience, and influence.
Speaking Human.
Welcome to Speaking Human, where we simplify the world of marketing for humans. I'm Shad Conley, and with me is my co-host, a man who has never met a product he wouldn't endorse if the price is right, Patrick Jebber.
They like to call me Patrick Shaquille O'Neal Jebber.
Why do they like to call you that?
Because I'm a guy who will endorse anything.
Is that what you think of about Shaq?
Quite frequently, actually, as I see him pretty much endorsing almost any product.
You're saying he doesn't really use Icy Hot?
I think he may use Icy Hot. That's a great product for him to endorse, being a retired athlete.
Well, hey, man, you got to get paid. You got to get paid. You're a celeb. You're an athlete. You're not working anymore. You got to keep those dollars coming in.
That's true. It's very, very, very true. And, I'm not knocking him for it. You get the paycheck. Hopefully you do it for all the right reasons.
Yeah, hopefully, but not always. It leads into some good information I have. Here's some stats on some of the highest paid celebrity endorsers out there.
Ooh, I'm excited for this.
And these are from greenings.com, and I just grabbed 5 of these that I thought were the most interesting. So let me throw these out to you here. George Clooney does a lot of endorsements, but he's been the face of Nespresso since 2006, so that's quite a while. He gets an estimated $5.7 million a year for that endorsement.
Wow.
So you add that up, that's just about $75 million at this point. And I think he puts a lot of that to work for his charity, but good chunk of change for that endorsement. Along the same lines, Charlize Theron. Do you know what she endorses?
Doesn't she endorse Budweiser?
She does. That's not the specific one I was thinking of. I was thinking up Dior. She's been a brand ambassador for Dior since 2004, and she also gets around $5 million a year. So she's in that same $75 million ballpark. And then, we move to the world of athletics, where obviously a lot of guys getting paid a lot of money. Here's some of the biggest ones. So 2003, David Beckham inks a lifetime endorsement deal with Adidas worth $160 million.
Wow.
That's in 2003. Flash forward to 2015. LeBron James inks his own lifetime deal with Nike. Now this one, we don't know exactly how much it's worth, but speculation is at the end, it's a lifetime deal, so he gets paid every year. It's expected to be worth over $1 billion.
That is a lovely amount of money. For just one endorsement, too. That's the crazy part about it.
It's you're locked in for life. You're like 85 years old. You're like, I can't get up from my chair. And they're like, sorry, dude, you signed this deal. Put on these sneakers.
Put on these Nikes and go out there and run the ball. Run the ball.
Put on these sneakers and run to the bingo hall.
Yeah, by the time he's 90, they probably give him, robotic legs or something. And he's also superhuman, so he may live to be like 400 years old.
But if he does live to 400, I guess he's taking down the value of that deal.
That would suck, actually. That's a good point.
But he signed that one in 2015, and that was after he had signed a 7-year, $90 million deal.
Yeah.
But by 2015, he had proven, I'm kind of the man here. I can do this.
I'm the GOAT.
The greatest of all time. So after he completed that deal with Nike, then he signed on for the lifetime deal. Nike's making out on that one.
Well, those are great stats. It's interesting to hear about how much each of those people are making. I didn't realize Clooney and Charlize, and I used Clooney's last name and Charlize's first name. It just seemed easier for some reason.
Yeah, well, that's how they're known, right? How you think of them.
Yeah, and those are pretty long-standing contracts that they've had, right? They sound like they were both right around a decade or more.
And you don't necessarily see brands stick with a spokesperson for that long, but those ones, both have gone the distance, both money-wise and time-wise. So that leads to the question, the brands are paying a lot for them, but are they effective? Are they worth it? What do you think, Patrick? When thinking about kind of all these brand celebrity pairings or partnerships we see out there with actors, athletes, whatever, as spokespeople, endorsers, ambassadors, social influencers, there's a ton of them. Effective or overused? Which word do you think best describes them?
I wouldn't say overused necessarily. I think there are times when a certain celebrity gives me the feeling that that person is specifically overused. You know, like I mentioned at the beginning, Shaquille O'Neal, for instance. According to iSpot.tv, he's done 155 spots, has almost 383,000 airings for different ads.
Wow.
Yeah, you got him doing the General, which is insurance. You've got Icy Hot, you had mentioned, Gold Bond, Buick, Ring Alarm, Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles, GoDaddy, JCPenney, Monster Power Card, Carnival Cruise Lines, American Express, AT&T, Capital One. I mean, he has just endorsed so many things. And, you know, some of those brands advertise a lot. So not only do you get, you know, that he's endorsed a lot of products or brands, but then you've got this saturation where you see him all the time endorsing these things. And I think it becomes a little like the reputation he has is he endorses everything. He'll endorse anything that gives him a paycheck. Whether that's true or not, it has that sort of effect. So that's where I would say is maybe that brand celebrity is being overused. But generally, I would say using celebrities are effective, you know, if paired correctly. Of course, you have to use the right celebrity with the right brand.
Yeah, I think I agree with you completely. I think they're both right. You know, I think they're both overused and effective. At their best, they're very effective, you know?
Yeah.
On the most basic level, at just for grabbing people's attention, they definitely do that. But then, you know, the ones that, and I think we're going to get into this more, I think this is what this episode's about, the ones that really use them well, the ones, you know, off the top of my head, like the proactive ads with people like Justin Bieber and Jessica Simpson and P. Diddy, Ed McMahon for Publishers Clearinghouse, or Jennifer Gardner and Samuel L. Jackson for Capital One, when they're really used and leveraged specifically by brands, it grabs your attention and it works on this long-term basis. I think in those cases, they can be very effective. I think they're overused in a lot of ways where brands are just like, let's just grab a celebrity and that's enough. Just that attention grabbing part is enough. And I don't think that it is. And especially in the cases, like you mentioned with Shaq, where you can feel the sort of disconnection where the celebrity is just basically cashing a check. They're not necessarily personally connected to the brand or relevant to the brand. And you can tell that it's just a cash grab, you know, or they're just like, it's a job as opposed to like a real partnership. And you can feel that as somebody taking this in.
And there's a lot of those. There are a lot more of those than there are of real good quality celebrity brand pair-ups, I would say. But sometimes they're effective even though they are that cash grab because it does grab people's attention or gets attention for a brand or a product that people didn't know about beforehand. You know what I mean? So sometimes it still works and it's effective, but it's just not the ideal. The ideal is you get a good brand and celebrity pair up that has some longevity to it.
Yeah, and some deeper meaning there.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just do a little game here. Who would you match up a celebrity brand pairing that you think would be a good one and why?
This is interesting. With all the possibilities, the first person that came to my mind, and this is weird, this might speak to just the general weirdness of my mind, was Nicolas Cage. I don't know why. Maybe because he doesn't do a lot of endorsements, just a bunch of crappy movies. Maybe just because he's such an eccentric character, or we think of him that way. I just thought that'd be really interesting to see Nicolas Cage do some like commercials and stuff like that, or repeatedly like support a brand or go to bat for a brand over and over. So then I was thinking, what would he be good paired with? No, not to promote hamster cages. I think that's a little too on the nose. But I was thinking something that maybe played off his intensity as an actor, like Vaseline intensive lip therapy, or, you know, even like some sort of long-lasting deodorant where he's like, when I'm on the set all day screaming, I need Bright Guard. But I also know he's passionate about comic books, and he's always wanted to play Superman. So then I was like, okay, what if he did like DC Comics? You know, he became like the face of DC Comics, or DC Comics fandom, but I don't know why. Cage came to my mind.
Yeah, that's funny. He definitely has the type of personality where he could be paired up with a brand that might work for him. But yeah, that's an interesting one. It's one of those things where brands definitely feel like they need to get a lot out of that. And if they wanted to pair Nick Cage with them, they wouldn't want the Gary Busey version of Nick Cage. You know what I mean? They want someone who looks like they have their stuff together.
That's true. He might be too erratic.
Yeah, you want somebody who isn't going to tarnish your brand.
Yeah, or something that totally becomes a joke where you're like, okay, the joke that you're not controlling, I guess.
Yeah, if it's a joke that you can control, then that's better, you know?
Yeah, I could see him and Old Spice being paired up with the stuff they do.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That brand using someone who's sort of over the top, right?
Yeah, so I could see that actually working. That's a pretty good pair. What did you come up with for this?
So I came up with Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman for Wonder Bread.
Oh, that's good.
How awesome would that be? So Wonder Woman first appeared in comics in 1941. Wonder Bread first sort of introduced in 1921, kind of the same period. So they could even use some of that history that the Wonder Woman movies have played up. It's got some of the same colors with the red, yellow, blue. Even Wonder Bread says that it's wholesome as childhood itself. I think that would be a sweet pairing.
That's actually really good. And I imagine there's a new Wonder Woman movie on the way soon.
Yeah, there is. I think there's one coming out later this year. It's set in the 80s.
Oh, man. So they should definitely get on that. They could have commercials set in these different time periods, going back and forth in time and stuff. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah. How perfect is that brand pairing?
It's almost too perfect. I can't believe it hasn't happened yet. Take our ideas.
Use the suggestion. The speaking human suggestions are plentiful. Well, those are all really good. In a minute, we'll share some examples of what we think are exceptional uses of celebrities by brands. But first, let's get a quick word from our sponsor.
Today's sponsor is Farmers Insurance. Insurance can be confusing, overwhelming, and time-consuming. At Hire Insurance Agency, we remove the guesswork and hassle, helping you protect what matters most. We offer a wide range of auto, home, business, and life insurance policies to help you meet your specific needs. Call 844-543-3463 or visit hireinsurance.com. That's HYRE insurance.com for more information.
Hey everybody, Game Show Bob here with today's Advertising Trivia Challenge. Speaking Human Trivia is the name and advertising trivia is the game. So if you consider yourself to be the sultan of slogans, here's your chance to test your knowledge. The last episode's trivia question was, what product's now famous two-word slogan was, think small? The choices were A, Micro Machines, B, Hershey's Miniatures, C, the Kenmore solid-state microwave, D, the Volkswagen Beetle. And the answer is, wait for it, the Volkswagen Beetle. Fun fact, often regarded as the greatest print ad campaign of all time, the tiny bit of copy was first conceived in 1959 and went on to change the way automobiles were marketed. Focusing on the simplicity of the vehicle, the ads highlighted the advantages of owning a small car over the big bang boom of luxury automobiles that were popular at that time. And now it's time for this episode's question. Are you ready? What product's popular advertising campaign used the words, "So easy a caveman can do it"? The choices are A, Easy Off Heavy Duty Oven Cleaner, B, Geico Car Insurance, C, Duraflame Fire Starting Kit, or D, Intuit TurboTax. Think you know the answer? Visit speakinghuman.com/trivia to find out if you are truly a trivia master.
And
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?
again, please.
Again?
Again. Art thou bored?
Yeah.
Step into a Slim Jim. Turn to the spice. That baby juicy taste. Need a little excitement? Step into a Slim Jim.
That was a clip from a 1995 commercial for Slim Jims, featuring the brand's memorable spokesperson from that decade, wrestler Macho Man Randy Savage. While Savage may have seemed a little surprising as a spokesperson, he enjoyed a partnership with the Slim Jim brand that lasted for years. Now we're going to talk about some other fruitful brand celebrity partnerships. So what we did here was we each dug in our heels to try to think of an example of what we think is an exceptional brand celebrity pairing and why that's a good pairing. So I don't know, Patrick, I don't know if there's much to say or you just want to dive right in here.
There's really not a lot to say about this. It's a fun exercise because it gives you some perspective on, does that celebrity elevate the brand over time? Has it tarnished the brand or fallen short? Does it impact the brand at all? And I think once you start to look, you can see which ones are the most effective. And it's not just the one-off, right? It's the ones that has longevity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's one of the key attributes. Not just grabbing a celebrity and throwing them in a commercial, but something that's a true partnership. When people think of the brand, they're thinking of this celebrity for a long period of time.
You want me to go ahead and jump right in?
Yeah, do it.
This one has been whispering in my ear for a long, long time. Something that I wanted to touch on in this podcast for years, but I haven't really had an opportunity. And when we talked about this topic for this episode, I knew right away who I was going to pick. And that is Tim Allen for Pure Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Do you know this campaign?
I do know this campaign. I remember when I first saw it, I just heard the voice. I knew the voice, but I couldn't place it. And then I was surprised to find out it was Tim Allen. Surprised, but not surprised.
Yeah, so if anybody hasn't heard of this, Tim Allen is the voiceover for the Pure Michigan campaign by Travel Michigan. And it's a campaign that's been in effect since 2006, well over a decade. To give you some numbers, in 2016, Travel Michigan reported that Pure Michigan spots prompted millions of trips and more than $1 billion in spending. After some analysis, $12.9 million invested in Pure Michigan advertising in 2016 yielded over $107 million in new state tax revenue, a return of about $8 for every dollar spent. So very, very effective. So I pulled one of the Pure Michigan ad spots with Tim Allen so that you could hear his voice and the subtle elegance of it. The words really resonate with you because of the way that it's voiced over. So here's a clip of that.
It starts with a subtle wave, then builds into soft fingers, lifting sails and spirits. Nothing makes us feel more alive than a summer breeze. Drifting with us on the water, chasing us through the trees, and playing along the whole day. In the Great Lakes Bay region, the summer breeze is blowing. Where it's headed is Pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
The results are right there. That's clearly a good one and a very good campaign. And I believe he's a born and bred Michigan guy, isn't he?
He was actually born in Denver, Colorado. But then at 13, his family moved to the suburb of Birmingham, Michigan. So, yeah, I mean, he was raised there.
Yeah, definitely a good one and a campaign that I haven't thought of in a while, but that sticks in my mind.
Yeah, we'll get into the reasons why the pairing works so well, but it's just one of those campaigns, and it's got that longevity that we talked about.
Yeah, that's a great one. And it's interesting. I don't think he actually appears in those. It's just the voice, how effective sometimes having that voice, that powerful voice can be.
Yeah, you don't see this celebrity. Normally you would pick someone like LeBron James who's on camera, he's showing his face, and that's the endorsement he's giving.
Yeah, he's not there in presence, but yet still a presence in those ads, no doubt.
Yeah, so who did you pick?
Well, I went big, Patrick, real big.
I bet.
One of the world's biggest celebrities, I would say. And this was, an interesting one for me. It didn't come naturally, but as I'm reading, and doing some research, trying to figure out who I'm going to use for this, I happened to see a recent news story that prompted me to go with this one. And who I went with was Oprah Winfrey for Weight Watchers. She's obviously endorsed a lot of products in her time, but she signed to promote Weight Watchers, now known as WW. somewhat disastrously. So she signed to endorse them in 2015. And I think they had been asking her, trying to get her for a while. And immediately they saw a boost. They started using her in their commercials and their marketing across the board, telling her story. And she legitimately, had lost 40 pounds using Weight Watchers. And profits just started soaring. So one great example of Oprah's Weight Watchers or WW spokesperson work is the I Love Bread commercial from 2016. This is an ad that has been parodied and spoofed across the web and on SNL, but it taps into the personal connection and story between the brand and celebrity that really translates to the watcher. So let's play that now.
This is the joy for me. I love bread. I love bread. I now just manage it, so I don't deny myself bread. I have bread every day. I have bread every day. That's the genius of this program. I lost 26 pounds, and I have eaten bread every single day.
So the recent news story which grabbed my attention with this was 2019, where they're playing down the Oprah Winfrey within their marketing. They also had changed their name to WW by this point. Profits are significantly down. And they've pointed specifically to the reasons and things they think they've done wrong is playing down the Oprah angle, not using Oprah enough. And they think that's really hurt the brand. It's one of the reasons they're kind of losing members, they think. So that just shows you how powerful this spokesperson has become. And she's just such a figure that when you brought her in, people were immediately drawn to the brand. They just got all these sorts of benefits. And it'll be interesting to see what happens from here, what changes they make now that they're encountering somewhat of a crisis in terms of profits and member base, and how they make changes and how that involves Oprah Winfrey, who I believe also within her deal to be a spokesperson for Weight Watchers also invested in the company too. It'll be interesting to see where they go from here, but I just thought it's a great pairing between brand and celebrity that means a lot to people.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And it's funny that you use that because just today I saw on the news something about was the Oprah effect wearing off, I think is what the headline was, because Weight Watchers has actually seen a pretty big decline just in the last couple of days. The shares fell 36.1%. She does own stock, by the way, 8%. And she lost nearly $58 million with that stock share drop.
That was what the big headline was. Oprah lost all her money. Dropping a bucket to her. That's nothing to her.
That's true. And it's Oprah money. It's like having Google money. But yeah, I mean, it's a great brand celebrity pairing. The only part about the Oprah pairing, Oprah has lost weight legitimately with Weight Watchers. But over the years, anybody who knows Oprah knows that she's fluctuated her weight so much that I wonder if that ever became a factor when they were thinking about, her being the endorsement.
Yeah. Well, I would say that's actually a strength, though, what you're mentioning. It gets into, we're each going to talk about reasons why the celebrity brand pairing works so well. I'll start moving into that now. And one of the reasons I had this was such a good one is I think you need to have that history, that meaning, that recognition there. People know that part of the story you're talking about, this Oprah and her fluctuating weight and those weight struggles you had, and people relate to that. You know what I mean? The up and down and having that. So I think even if, now she's like, well, I lost this on Weight Watchers and then I gained some back, so now I got to recommit and lose some again, people can relate to that. That's the way it happens for most people, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's necessarily much of a negative. I think that's relatable on a lot of levels. But I think that's one of the key things that made this such a good brand pairing was people know that story about Oprah. So when they see her paired with this brand, they're like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? This is someone who's publicly struggled with weight loss, been up and down, so that she's turning to this product and saying this product has worked for her has added meaning because I know that backstory.
That's a good point. I agree. I think that can definitely be looked at as a positive for sure. I felt like it was sort of teetering for me. So you convinced me, Shad. You convinced me. It's a positive.
Good. Let me give you the other couple reasons I think this is a good celebrity brand pairing, and then you can give me your reasons behind choosing Tim Allen.
Okay.
So you want a spokesperson who in some ways connects with or represents the audience you're trying to reach. Audience surrogate, whether that's in terms of age, generation, gender, race, whatever. You want the people you're trying to reach to see themselves reflected in that celebrity, even if they are a celebrity, and obviously we're not. We're just regular people. You want to be able to look at that person who's talking to you about a brand and being like, they represent me. You know what I mean? Seeing yourself in them in some way. My guess is with Weight Watchers, Oprah reflects a lot of their key demographic, or at least a large chunk of that, in terms of it being women of a certain age, or within that age range anyway. I think that is a good fit there. The final thing there is the trust factor. You want someone who makes you feel a higher level of trust in the brand. Because of her TV show that she had for decades, people developed this really strong bond to Oprah that's kind of insanely strong. When she says a product is good or I use a product that has meaning to them, Oprah recommends this, it must be good. So she has that very high trust level and she brings that to the brand. That's key factor. You want somebody that people trust. So when they say your product is good, people believe it. Rather than thinking, this guy's just getting a check or this lady's just here because, they're paying her a lot of money. Which is in part true, obviously, but you don't want to feel that as the person watching that and taking that in. 3 factors that I thought made Oprah a good spokesperson that I think apply to most brand celebrity pairings.
Yeah, those are all good reasons. And Oprah and the fact that you can tie her to your brand, that's why it's kind of surprising to me that they haven't used her more than they had.
Yeah, or would even think of backing off her a little bit.
I'm not exactly sure what the rationale was there, but to me, that's like winning the lottery.
To have Oprah say she listens to Speaking Human?
Yeah, think about when she had her show and when she'd endorse a book. That book went through the roof on the New York Times bestselling list. You know what I mean? So yeah, Oprah, you want to give us a shout out? Please do. I'm not going to be like, and we got a celebrity endorsement. I'm not going to say who it is.
Someone a little famous.
Someone, slightly famous. So yeah, it's just surprising to me. And she's like a magnet, people are attracted to her. And I think for a multitude of reasons, but the biggest probably being that she just seems like a very good person.
Yeah.
It's same reasons that I often say LeBron James has that magnetic attraction to him because he just seems like a good guy. He makes the right decisions. He tries to be a good person. And I think sometimes those are the celebrities that have, 1, the most potential to be a great pairing for a brand, and 2, the longevity. Because if you're just trying to be a good person in life, I think generally speaking, most brands would be attracted to that because you're going to have a fairly good head on your shoulders. You're probably not going to tarnish their brand by being a good person.
Yeah, that's key starting point right there.
So for Tim Allen, the 3 reasons that I picked, they're pretty simple. I chose by being simple, by being honest, and by being real. And I'll explain those. Simple. They paired a recognizable and soothing voice with well-timed imagery that comforted viewers and instilled a feeling of trust. Like you said, you recognize the voice, so you had this tie to it. So it's simple, it's honest, and anyone who hears his voice will likely recognize it, but it feels honest, right? The way he uses his voice in the voiceovers, it's like a friend sitting with you and telling you all about what makes this place, Michigan, special. Tim Allen has said in interviews that the creative direction he was given on what voice to use wasn't something that came completely natural to him. It took him multiple takes to get it right, and he credits the creative and direction he was given with the success of the campaign. It's a very honest voice. And then it's real. I said it before, Tim Allen was raised in Michigan. He's a true fan of Michigan. It's shown through in other areas of his life that he's a Michigan fan, including his television shows where he often references his love for Michigan. So it's real. If a celebrity honestly believes in that brand, then people will believe in that brand. You know what I mean? It's more than just the cash grab like you mentioned before. So simple, honest, real.
And those are all very, very good reasons. And I'll say particularly with that campaign, it just feels so natural and it feels like he's a part of that.
Yeah.
You never get the sense that it's phony. Just having that voice there as opposed to having any other voice or having a generic voice makes such a big difference. You know what I mean? It adds so much to that.
Yeah.
Even though you don't see the actual person, it adds this air of authenticity. It makes a huge difference. Just that voice, just the voice alone shows you the impact.
Yeah. for sure. And I did find a couple examples of them doing a very similar type of video without his voice. But without his voiceover, it doesn't have the impact. It really doesn't. And so, yeah, for sure, it's way more effective.
Definitely.
So were there any other celebrities you considered that you wanted to mention?
Yeah, there were a few that I considered briefly for the list. One of the ones that we've talked about on the Speaking Human website before is Matthew McConaughey doing some work for Wild Turkey. They made him a quote-unquote creative director in 2016, and he's done a number of different promos and videos and interesting and engaging efforts for the brand since then. So I thought that was a good one. Also, Serena Williams with the I Touch Myself project to promote breast health awareness. It's a newer thing, not quite the longevity there that I wanted, but an interesting effort that we've also covered on the Speaking Human website. And then the final one, another biggie, George Foreman with the Foreman Grill, right? Might be the best example ever of a celebrity elevating a product that was otherwise floundering, you know? They basically got him as an endorsement, ended up changing the name of the product, and this thing's just started flying off the shelves. Eventually, they put his name on there and gave him $150 million, and huge success is what happened there.
Those are all really good ones. I was only going to mention Terry Crews and Old Spice.
Is he a celebrity, though? I feel like those ads almost made him a celebrity.
I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, he was a football player. I just always thought that people knew who he was, because I think I knew who he was when he was doing Old Spice commercials. But now that you mention that, I don't know when I started knowing who he was. I would say he did have a long-standing relationship with that brand.
Yeah, that's true.
As a brand celebrity pairing, he did have the kind of personality that went really well with Old Spice. Also elevated that brand, took it from an old man's brand, if you want to call it that, to something that started to speak to younger audiences.
Yeah, definitely. He is no doubt great for that brand and all the wacky stuff he did. I loved it. Very good mention there. A lot of good stuff. An interesting topic to dig into because there's just a lot. You know, there's a lot of variations on this.
Yeah, you've got voiceovers, you've got celebrities on screen, you've got this brand celebrity pairing that really has a lot of potential to elevate a brand beyond what it can do on its own, right?
Yeah, no doubt. It takes it to another level. And on that note, let's get our final nugget of human wisdom. Human wisdom.
So today's nugget comes to your mighty ears as a clip from the movie Santa Claus, featuring the pick that I had today for brand celebrity pairing, Tim Allen. In this clip, we see Tim Allen as an average guy, Calvin, who was a marketing professional and is now transitioning into Santa Claus. He's sitting in on a meeting where his fellow colleagues are pitching an idea for a new Christmas toy. It sounds complicated, so if you want the full story, you can buy, rent, or watch it on your favorite streaming service. But first, let's listen to the clip.
Now, remember, this is just a storyboard, but here is our preliminary total tank TV spot. Okay, now we've got Santa. He's up in the North Pole. He's getting ready for Christmas.
Oh, no.
Problem?
It's just a little thing.
Can we continue here? Okay. Now this year, Santa's not going out in a sleigh. This time, he's going total tank.
Wait a minute. No way. No way Santa's going anywhere without his sleigh.
He would if he's trying to sell the total tank.
Well, isn't that a pretty picture? Santa rolling down the block in a Panzer. Well, kids, I certainly hope you've been good this year, because it looks like Santa just took out the Pearson home. It's coming! Oh. And another thing, but what about the reindeer? Reindeer and Santa, Santa and a reindeer, it's kind of a package deal.
Calvin.
You don't believe in Santa, do you?
Calvin, can we get back to the presentation?
We're not done yet. Since we've opened this box, have any of you tried to build the total tank? It's got 10,000 parts. And even if you do get it together, it breaks 10 minutes later. Then you got to spend more money just to buy new parts.
Well, I thought that was the whole point.
No. What we got to do is develop a basic, simple, inexpensive toy that will nurture a child's creative thinking.
A great clip tied in so many ways. You got Tim Allen. You got one of the world's ultimate celebrities, Santa Claus.
Yeah, what I love about this clip, Shad, is how it pairs nicely with this episode of Speaking Human. Santa Claus is probably the greatest celebrity endorsement of them all. Except for the fact that advertisers don't have to pay him and they can essentially do anything they want with him to sell their brand or products, it's a unique situation in that.
Yeah.
But even more so, the marketing professionals in this clip are trying to spin and sell a toy that may not be right for their target audience, aka the kids, right? And Tim Allen, he recognizes that. And, his suggestion to create a toy that matches what the kids need, a simple toy that nurtures a child's creative thinking. It seems ridiculous to the other marketing professionals in the room. Of course, that's what every brand should be doing, right? Pairing their brand with the right audience, but also having the right celebrity endorsement to elevate that brand in the right way.
Yeah, and I think that's key at the most basic level. It's not just about celebrity. It's about making a sensible choice. What is going to connect people to this product? Who are they going to believe would use this product? How is it going to establish that trust in their mind and make them want to use the product more, believe in the power of the product? I think the best ones and the examples we show are celebrities that have a personal relationship with the brand or the product, where there's this deeper connection than just, hey, I'm standing in a commercial saying I like the product. There has to be something more there. There has to be this established relationship. It has to make sense, easy and good sense to the viewer, where you're watching it and you're saying, all right, okay, you're taking me deeper with this because I believe you.
Yeah, all of that seems like common sense, right? Or business common sense, but it's amazing how many brands don't follow that very basic rule. Try to get someone who fits and also believes in your brand. If they don't believe in your brand, then maybe you should be looking at someone else.
Yeah, it's like a lot of things. If we know anything from marketing and branding, simple is generally the hardest thing.
Oh yeah, getting down to the basics. Simplicity. So that's it for today's show, everyone. You can find current and past episodes of the podcast on speakinghuman.com. While you're there, sign up for our weekly emails. It's the equivalent of having a celebrity like LeBron James or Serena Williams come into your living room and feed you candy every week. Who wouldn't want that, right? Don't you want LeBron James and Serena Williams coming into your room? Those are both athletes too. They could even teach you something about basketball and tennis while they're there.
While they're feeding you.
Yeah, candy. Whatever your favorite candy is.
Or your favorite food. Maybe you don't like candy. They're just feeding you whatever you love.
Yeah, maybe Oprah's there. She doesn't want to feed you candy because, she's a spokesperson for Weight Watchers. So she would come and feed you vegetables. I don't know. That's what I
have to lift a finger. Oprah is feeding you celery. It's amazing. I mean, sign up for those emails. If you want Oprah to feed you vegetables, do it. Tweet us your pick for the greatest celebrity brand pairing in the history of humanity using the hashtag #BrandSpokes. You can find us at speaking_human on Twitter. That's at speaking_human on Twitter. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Speaking Human. Catch you then, humans.
Speaking Human.